He can come no other way but by this hedge corner. When you sally upon him, speak what terrible language you will. Though you understand it not yourselves, no matter. We must not seem to understand him unless someone among us whom we must produce for an interpreter.
Good Captain, let me be the interpreter.
I'm not acquainted with him. Knows he not thy voice?
No, sir, I warrant you.
But what Lindsay Wolsey is out to speak to us again.
In such as you speak to me.
He must think us some band of strangers at the adversary's entertainment. Now, he hath a smack of all neighbouring languages, therefore we must every one be a man of his own fancy. Not to know what we speak one to another, so we seem to know, is to know straight our purpose. Chuff's language, gabble enough, and good enough. As for you, interpreter, you must seem very politic. But couch, ho, here he comes. Shh. To beguile 2 hours in a sleep, and then to return and swear the lies he forges.
10 o'clock. Within these 3 hours, 'twill be time enough to go home. What shall I say I've done? It must be a very plausive invention that carries it. They begin to smoke me, and disgraces have of late knocked too often at my door. I find my tongue is too foolhardy, but my heart hath the fear of Mars before it and of his creatures, not daring the reports of my tongue.
This is the first truth that e'er thine own tongue was guilty of.
What the devil should move me to undertake the recovery of this drum, being not ignorant of the impossibility and knowing I had no such purpose? I must give myself some hurts and say I got them in exploit. Yet slight ones will not carry it. They will say, came you off with so little? And great ones I dare not give. Wherefore? What's the instance? Tongue, I must put you into a butter-woman's mouth and buy myself another of Bajazzet's mule if you prattle me into these perils.
Is it possible he should know what he is and be that he is?
I would the cutting of my garments would serve the turn, or the breaking of my Spanish sword.
We cannot afford you, sir.
Or the baring of my beard, and to say it was in stratagem.
'Twould not do.
Or to drown my clothes and say I was stripped.
Hardly serve.
Though I swore I leapt from the window of the citadel.
How deep?
30 fathom.
3 great O's would scarce make that be believed.
I would I had any drum of the enemy's, I would swear I recovered it.
You shall hear one anon.
A drum now of the enemy's. I know you are the Muscos regiment, and I shall lose my life for want of language. If there be here German or Dane, Low Dutch, Italian or French, let him speak to me. I'll discover that which shall undo the Florentine.
I understand thee, and can speak thy tongue. Carefully, Bonto, sir. Betake thee to thy faith for 17 poignards at thy bosom. Pray. Manca dulce.
Oscolbi dulcios volivolco.
The general is content to spare thee yet, and hoodwinked as thou art, will lead thee on to gather from thee. Haply thou mayst inform something to save thy life.
Oh, let me live, and all the secrets of our camp I'll show. Their force, their purposes, nay, I'll speak that which you will wonder at.
But wilt thou faithfully?
If I do not, damn me.
Accordolenta. Come, thou hast granted space.
Go tell the Count Rosillian and my brother we have caught the woodcock and will keep him muffled till we do hear from them.
Captain, I will.
Will betray us all unto ourselves. Inform on that.
So I will, sir.
Till then, I'll keep him dark and safely locked.
They told me that your name was Fontibel.
No, my good lord, Diana.
Titled goddess, and worth it with addition. But, fair soul, in your fine frame hath love no quality. If the quick fire of youth light not your mind, you are no maiden but a monument. When you are dead, you should be such a one as you are now, for you are cold and stern, And now you should be as your mother was when your sweet self was got.
She then was honest.
So should you be.
No. My mother did but duty, such, my lord, as you owe to your wife.
No more of that. I prithee, do not strive against my vows. I was compelled to her, but I love thee by love's own sweet constraint, and will forever do thee all rights of service.
Aye, so you serve us till we serve you. But when you have our roses, you barely leave our thorns to prick ourselves and mock us with our bareness.
How have I sworn?
'Tis not the many oaths that makes the truth, but the plain single vow that is vowed true. What is not holy, that we swear not by, but take the highest to witness. Then pray you tell me, if I should swear by Jove's great attributes I loved you dearly, would you believe my oaths when I did love you ill? This has no holding. To swear by him whom I protest to love that I will work against him. Therefore your oaths are words and poor conditions, but unsealed, at least in my opinion.
Change it. Change it. Be not so wholly cruel. Love is holy, and my integrity ne'er knew the craft that you do charge men with. Stand no more off, but give thyself unto my sick desires. Who then recovers? Say thou art mine, and ever my love as it begins shall so persever.
I see that men may ropes in such a snare that we'll forsake ourselves. Give me that ring.
I'll lend it thee, my dear, but have no power to give it from me.
Will you not, my lord?
It is an honour longing to our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy of the world in me to lose.
Mine honour's such a ring. My chastity is the jewel of our house, bequeathed down from many ancestors, which were the greatest obloquy in the world in me to lose. Thus your own proper wisdom brings in the champion honour on my part against your vain assault.
Here, take my ring. My house, mine honour, yea, my life be thine, and I'll be bid by thee.
When midnight comes, knock at my chamber window. I'll order take my mother shall not hear. Now will I charge you in the band of truth. When you have conquered my yet maiden bed, remain there but an hour, nor speak to me. My reasons are most strong, and you shall know them, when back again this ring shall be delivered. And on your finger in the night I'll put another ring, that what in time proceeds may token to the future our past deeds. Adieu till then fail not. You have won a wife of me, though there my hope be done.
A heaven on earth I have won by wooing thee.
For which live long to thank both heaven and me. You may so in the end. My mother told me just how he would woo, as if she sat in's heart. She says all men have the like oaths.
You're not giving him his mother's
He had
letter.
sworn to marry me
delivered it an
when
hour
his
since.
wife's dead.
There is something in
Therefore
that
I'll
stings
lie
his
with him
nature.
when I am buried.
On the reading it, he changed
Since
almost into
Frenchmen
another
are so
He has much worthy
brave,
blame
marry
laid upon
that
him for
will,
shaking off so
I
good a
live
wife,
and
so
die
sweet a
a
lady.
maid.
Especially he hath incurred the
Only in this
everlasting displeasure
disguise
of
I
the king,
think no sin,
who had even tuned his
to
bounty
cozen
to sing
him that
happiness
would
to it.
unjustly win.
I will tell you a thing, but you shall let it dwell darkly with you.
When you have spoken it, 'tis dead, and I am the grave of it.
He hath perverted a young gentlewoman here in Florence, of a most chaste renown, and this night he fleshes his will in the spoil of her honour. He hath given her his monumental ring, and thinks himself made in the unchaste composition.
Now God delay our rebellion. As we are ourselves, what things are we?
Merely our own traitors. And as in the common course of all treasons, we still see them reveal themselves, till they attain to their abhorred ends. So he that in this action contrives against his own nobility in his proper stream o'erflows himself.
Is it not made damnable in us to be trumpeters of our unlawful intents? We shall not then have his company tonight.
Not till after midnight, for he is dieted to his hour.
That approaches apace. I would gladly have him see his company anatomized, that he might take a measure of his own judgments, wherein so curiously he had set this counterfeit.
We will not meddle with him till he come, for his presence must be the whip of the other.
In the meantime, what hear you of these wars?
I hear there is an overture of peace.
Nay, I assure you a peace concluded.
What will Count Rochelian do then? Would he travel higher or return again into France?
I perceive by this demand you're not altogether of his counsel.
Let it be forbid, sir. So should I be a great deal of his act.
Sir, his wife, some 2 months since, fled from his house. Her pretence is a pilgrimage to Saint Jacques-le-Grand, which, wholly undertaking with most austere sanctimony, she accomplished. And there residing, the tenderness of her nature became as a prey to her grief. In fine, made a groan of her last breath, and now she sings in heaven.
How is this justified?
The stronger part of it by her own letters, which makes her story true even to the point of her death. Her death itself, which could not be her office to say is come, was faithfully confirmed by the rector of the place.
Hath the Count all this intelligence?
Aye, and the particular confirmations, point from point to the full arming of the verity.
I'm heartily sorry that he'll be glad of this.
How mightily sometimes we make us comforts of our losses.
And how mightily some other times we drown our gain in tears. The great dignity that his valour hath here acquired for him shall at home be encountered with a shame as ample.
The web of our life is of a mingled yarn, good and ill together. Our virtues would be proud if our faults whipped them not, and our crimes would despair if they were not cherished by our virtues. Now, where's your master?
You met the Duke in the street, sir, of whom he hath taken a solemn leave. His lordship will next morning for France. The Duke hath offered him letters of commendations to the king.
There shall be no more than needful there, if they were more than they can commend. They cannot be too sweet for the king's tartness. Here's his lordship now. How now, my lord? It's not after midnight.
I have tonight dispatched 16 businesses a month's length apiece. By an abstract of success, I have congeed with the Duke, done my adieu with his nearest, buried a wife, mourned for her, writ to my lady mother I'm returning, entertained my convoy, and between these main parcels of dispatch effected many nicer needs. The last was the greatest, but that I've not ended yet.
If the business be of any difficulty in this morning your departure hence, it requires haste of your lordship.
I mean the business is not ended as fearing to hear of it hereafter. But shall we have this dialogue between the fool and the soldier? Come, bring forth this counterfeit module. He's deceived me like a double-meaning prophesy.
Bring him forth. Has sat i' the stocks all night, poor gallant knave.
No matter, his heels have deserved it in usurping his spurs so long. How does he carry himself?
I've told your lordship already. The stocks carry him. But to answer as you would be understood, he weeps like a wench that has shed her milk. He hath confessed himself to Morgan, whom he supposes to be a friar, from the time of his remembrance to this very instant disaster of his setting of the stocks. And what think you he hath confessed?
Nothing of me, is it?
His confession is taken, and it shall be read to his face. If your lordship be in't, as I believe you are, you must have the patience to hear it.
Plague upon him. Muffled. He can say nothing of me.
Hush, hush. Hoodman comes.
Porto Tarta Rosa.
He calls for the tortures. What will you say without him?
I will confess what I know without constraint. If you pinch me like a pasty, I can say no more.
Bosco Cemercio.
Boblibindo Chorco Marco.
You are a merciful general. Our general bids you answer to what I shall ask you out of a note.
And surely as I hope to live.
First, demand of him how many horse the Duke is strong. What say you to that?
5,000 or 6,000, but very weak and unserviceable. The troops are all scattered, and the commanders very poor rogues. Upon my reputation and credit as I hope to live.
Shall I set down your answer so?
Do. I'll take the sacrament on't, how and which way you will.
All's one to him. What a past-saving slave is this?
You're deceived, my lord. This is Monsieur Paroles, the gallant militarist. That was his own phrase, that had the whole theoric of war in the knot of his scarf, and the practice in the chape of his dagger.
I'll never trust a man again for keeping his sword clean, nor believe he can have everything in him by wearing his apparel neat.
Well, that's set down.
Five or six horse, I said. I will say true, or thereabouts set down, for I'll speak truth.
He's very near the truth in
But
this.
I con him no thanks for it in the nature he delivers it.
Poor rogues, I pray you say.
Well, that's set down.
I humbly thank you, sir. Truth to truth, the rogues are marvellous poor.
Demand of him of what strength they are afoot. What say you to that?
By my troth, sir, if I were to live this present hour, I will tell true. Let me see. Spurio, 150. Sebastian, so many. Carambus, so many. Jaques, so many. Guilty and Cosmo, Lodovic and Gratii, 250 each. Mine own company, Chittifer, Vaumont, Bentii, 250 each. So that the muster foul, rotten, and sound upon my life amounts not to 15,000 pole, half of the which dare not shake the snow from off their cassocks, lest they shake themselves to pieces.
What should be done to him?
Nothing, but let him have thanks. Demand of him my condition, and what credit I have with the Duke.
Well, that's set down. You shall demand of him whether one Captain Dumaine be in the camp, a Frenchman, what his reputation is with the Duke, what his valor, honesty, and expertness in wars, or whether he thinks it were not possible, with well-weighing sums of gold, to corrupt him to a revolt. What say you to this? What do you know of it?
I beseech you, let me answer to the particular of the interrogatories. Demand them singly.
Do you know this Captain Dumaine?
Oh, I know him. Was a butcher's apprentice in Paris, from whence he was whipped for getting the Shreves full with child, but some innocents that could not say him nay.
Nay, by your leave, hold your hands, though I know his brains are forfeit to the next tile that falls.
Well, is this captain in the Duke of Florence's camp?
Upon my knowledge he is, and lousy.
Nay, look not so upon me. We shall hear of your lordship anon.
What is his reputation with the Duke?
The Duke knows him for no other but a poor officer of mine, and writ to me this other day to turn him out of the band. I think I have his letter in my pocket.
Marry, we'll search.
In good sadness, I do not know. Either it is there, or it is upon a file with the Duke's other letters in my tent.
Here it is. Here's a paper. Shall I read it to you?
Oh, I do not know if it be it or no.
Our interpreter does it well.
Excellently.
Diane, the Count's a fool and full of gold.
Oh, that is not the Duke's letter, sir. That is an advertisement to a proper maid in Florence, one Diana, to take heed of the allurement of one Count Russillian, a foolish idle boy, but for all that very rottish. I pray you, sir, put it up again.
Nay, I'll read it first, by your favour.
My meaning, interpretess, was very honest in the behalf of the maid, for I knew the young Count to be a dangerous and lascivious boy who is a whale to virginity and devours up all the fry it finds.
Damnable both sides rogue.
When he swears oaths, bid him drop gold and take it. After he scores, he never pays the score. Half won is match well made, match and well make it. He ne'er pays after debts, take it before. And say a soldier, Diane, told thee this, men are to marry with, boys are not to kiss. For count of this, the Count's a fool, I know it, who pays before, but not when he does owe it. Thine as he vowed to thee in thine ear, paroles.
He shall be whipped through the army with this rhyme in's forehead.
This is your devoted friend, sir, the manifold linguist and the omnipotent soldier.
Could enjoy anything before but a cat, and now he's a cat to me.
I perceive, sir, by our general's looks, we shall be fain to hang you.
My life, sir, in any case. Not that I'm afraid to die, but that my offences being many, I would repent out the remainder of nature. Let me live, sir, in a dungeon in the stocks or anywhere, so I may live.
We'll see what may be done, so you confess freely. Therefore, once more to this Captain Dumaine. You have answered to his reputation with the Duke, and to his valor. What is his honesty?
He will steal, sir, an egg out of a cloister. For rapes and ravishments, he parallels Nessus. He professes not keeping of oaths. In breaking them, he's stronger than Hercules. He will lie, sir, with such volubility that you would think truth were a fool. Drunkenness is his best virtue, for he will be swine drunk, and in his sleep he does little harm, save to his bedclothes about him. But they know his conditions and lay him in straw. I have but little more to say, sir, of his honesty. He has everything that an honest man should not have. What an honest man should have, he has nothing.
I begin to love him for this.
For this description of thine honesty, pox upon him for me, he's more and more a cat.
What say you to his expertness in war?
Faith, sir, has led the drum before the English tragedians. To belie him I will not, and more of his soldiership I know not, except in that country he had the honour to be the officer at a place there called Mile End, to instruct for the doubling of files. I would do the man what honour I can, but of this I am not certain.
He hath outvillained villainy so far that the rarity redeems him.
Pox on him, he's a cat still.
His qualities being at this poor price, I need not ask you if gold will corrupt him to revolt.
Sir, for a quart d'écu he will sell the fee simple of his salvation, the inheritance of it, and cut the entail from all remainders of a perpetual succession for it perpetually.
What's his brother, the other Captain Dumaine?
Why does he ask him of me?
What's he?
He and a crow of the same nest. Not altogether so great as the first in goodness, but greater a great deal in evil. He excels his brother for a coward, yet his brother is reputed one of the best that is. In a retreat he outruns any lackey, marry, and coming on he has the cramp.
If your life be saved, will you undertake to betray the Florentine?
Aye, and the captain of his horse, Count Racilian.
I'll whisper with the general and know his pleasure.
I'll no more drumming, a plague of all drums, only to seem to deserve well and to beguile the supposition of that lascivious young boy the Count if I run into this danger. Yet who would have suspected an ambush where I was taken?
There is no remedy, sir, but you must die. The general says you that have so traitorously discovered the secrets of your army and made such pestiferous reports of men very nobly held can serve the world for no honest use. Therefore, you must die. Come, headsman, off with his head!
Oh, Lord, sir! Let me live! Or let me see my death!
That shall you. And take your leave of all your friends. So look about you. Know you any here?
Good morrow, noble captain.
God bless you, Captain Paroles.
God save you, noble captain.
Captain, what greeting will you to my Lord Lafew? I am for France.
Good captain, will you give me a copy of the sonnet you writ to Diana in behalf of the Count Racilian? And I were not a very coward, I'd compel it of you. But fare you well.
You are undone, Captain. All but your scarf. That has a knot on't yet.
Who cannot be crushed with a plot?
If you could find out a country where but women were that had received so much shame, you might begin an impudent nation. Fare you well, sir. I am for France, too. We shall speak of you there.
Yet am I thankful. If my heart were great, 'twould burst at this. Captain I'll be no more, but I will eat and drink and sleep as soft as captain shall. Simply the thing I am shall make me live. Who knows himself a braggart, let him fear this, for it will come to pass that every braggart shall be found an ass. Rust sword, cool blushes, and Paroles live safest in shame, being fooled by foolery thrive. There's place and means for every man alive. I'll after them.
That you may well perceive I have not wronged you, one of the greatest in the Christian world shall be my surety, for whose throne 'tis needful, ere I can perfect mine intents, to kneel. Time was, I did him a desired office, dear almost as his life, which gratitude through flinty Tartar's bosom would peep forth and answer thanks. I duly am informed his grace is at Marcellus, to which place we have convenient convoy. You must know I am supposed dead. The army breaking, my husband hies him home, where heaven aiding, and by the leave of my good lord the king, we'll be before our welcome.
Gentle madam, you never had a servant to whose trust your business was more welcome.
Nor you, mistress, ever a friend whose thoughts more truly labour to recompense your love. Doubt not, but heaven hath brought me up to be your daughter's dower, as it hath fated her to be my motive, and helper to a husband. But oh, strange men, that can such sweet use make of what they hate, when saucy trusting of the cozened thoughts defiles the pitchy night. So lust doth play with what it loathes for that which is away. But more of this hereafter. You, Diana, under my poor instructions, yet must suffer something in my behalf.
Let death and honesty go with your impositions. I am yours, upon your will to suffer.
Yet I pray you. But with the word the time will bring on summer, when briars shall have leaves as well as thorns, and be as sweet as sharp. We must away. Our wagon is prepared, and time revives us. All's well that ends well. Still the fine's the crown. Whate'er the course, the end is the renown.
No. Your son was misled with a snipped taffeta fellow there, whose villainous saffron would have made all the unbaked and doughy youth of a nation in his colour. Your daughter-in-law had been alive at this hour, and your son here at home more advanced by the king than by that red-tailed humble-bee I speak of.
I would I had not known him. It was the death of the most virtuous gentlewoman that ever nature had praise for creating. If she had partaken of my flesh, and cost me the dearest groans of a mother, I could not have owed her a more rooted love.
'Twas a good lady. 'Twas a good lady. We may pick 1,000 salads ere we light on such another herb.
Indeed, sir, she was the sweet marjoram of the salad, or rather the herb of grace.
They are not herbs, you knave. They are nose herbs.
I am no great Nebuchadnezzar, sir. I've not much skill in grass.
Whether dost thou profess thyself a knave or a fool?
A fool, sir, at a woman's service, and a knave at a man's.
Your distinction?
I would cozen the man of his wife and do his service.
So you were a knave at his service, indeed.
And I'd give his wife my bauble, sir, to do her service.
I will subscribe for thee. Thou art both knave and fool.
At your service.
No.
Why, sir, if I cannot serve you, I can serve as great a prince as you are.
Who's that, a Frenchman?
They say he has an English name, but his physiognomy is more hotter in France than there.
What prince is that?
The Black Prince, sir. Alias the Prince of Darkness. Alias the Devil.
Hold thee. There's my purse. I give thee not this to suggest thee from thy master thou talk'st of. Serve him still.
I'm a woodland fellow, sir, that always loved a great fire, and the master I speak of ever keeps a good fire. But sure he is the prince of the world. Let his nobility remain in his court. I am for the house with a narrow gate, which I take to be too little for pomp to enter. Some that humble themselves may, but the many will be too chill and tender, and they'll be for the flowery way that leads to the broad gate and the great fire.
Go thy ways, I begin to be a-weary of thee, and I tell thee so before, because I would not fall out with thee. Go thy ways, let my horses be well looked to, without any tricks.
Oh, if I put any tricks upon them, sir, they shall be jades tricks, which are their own right, by the law of nature.
A shrewd knave.
and an unhappy.
So is. My lord that's gone made himself much sport out of him. By his authority he remains here, which he thinks is a patent for his sauciness, and indeed he has no pace, but runs where he will.
I like him well, 'tis not amiss. And I was about to tell you, since I heard of the good lady's death, and that my lord your son was upon his return home, I moved the king my master to speak in the behalf of my daughter, which in the minority of them both his majesty out of a self-gracious remembrance did first propose. His highness hath promised me to do it, and to stop up the displeasure he hath conceived against your son, there is no fitter matter. How does your ladyship like it?
With very much content, my lord, and I wish it happily effected.
His highness comes post from Marcellus of as able body as when he numbered 30. I will be here tomorrow, or I am deceived by him that in such intelligence hath seldom failed.
It rejoices me that I hope I shall see him ere I die. I have letters that my son will be here tonight. I shall beseech your lordship to remain with me till they meet together.
Madam, I was thinking with what manners I might safely be admitted.
You need but plead your honourable privilege.
Lady, of that I have made a bold charter, but I thank my God it holds yet.
Oh, madam! Yonder's my lord, your son with a patch of velvet on his face. Whether there be a scar under it or no, the velvet knows, but 'tis a goodly patch of velvet. His left cheek is a cheek of 2 pile and a half, but his right cheek is worn bare.
A scar nobly got, or a noble scar, is a good livery of honour, so belike as that.
But it is your carbonadoed face.
Let us go see your son, I pray you. I long to talk with the young noble soldier.
Faith, there's a dozen of them.
With delicate fine hats and most courteous feathers which bow the head and nod at every man.